next question is from a student, Nikita Nelson. Sir, I'm a 17-year-old student and a huge fan of yours. My dream is pursue a career as an international civil servant and be a global citizen in the true sense and do something worthwhile in life and explore the world and its varied cultures. I'm looking forward for any advice for mine and other UN aspirants from an esteemed global citizen as yourself, sir.
Well, Nikita, that's a laudable aspiration, and I wish you luck in fulfilling it. The UN is not just one entity, it's multiple bodies. There is the UN, the principal UN itself, headquartered in New York. There are large numbers of UN agencies, funds, and programs. You must have heard of UNICEF, which works for children, UNDP, working for development, specialized agencies like the World Health Organization, the International Labour Organization in those fields, the Human Rights High Commissioner, the High Commissioner for Refugees, the UN Environment Programme, and so on. You will need, of course, first of all, as a minimum, a bachelor's degree, and many agencies require a master's also. You ideally need to acquire a second language. The two working languages of the UN are English and French. And then depending on many of the field operations of the UN, for example, a peacekeeping operation could be in a country where you can't work effectively without, say, Arabic or Spanish. So a second international language is also very useful to acquire early on. Fortunately, in terms of applying for jobs, the process is relatively free and open. It's all on the internet. Nobody can apply for a job through any other means. You have to log in to www.un.org for UN jobs, and each of the agencies has its own job portals. They advertise every vacancy, all the qualifications required of the candidates, and all the requirements of the job itself. And then only can you apply. So you should, perhaps if you're deciding what to study, you can look at examples of the kinds of jobs that are advertised today. They won't be available when you graduate, but they give you an example of the kinds of skills and the kinds of knowledge that people are looking for in different jobs, and you see what interests you. If you're 17, you're still very young, you still have some time to go. One more thing you should know is that going straight out of university will be difficult, because though they do take entry-level candidates, these are positions open only to people from entrance examinations, and those entrance examinations are only offered each year to specific nationalities that are deemed to be eligible. Now, India has historically, for I think all but 2 or 3 of the last 50 years, Indians have been deemed to be overrepresented in the UN, and therefore Indians have not been eligible to take the exams, except in those 2 or 3 years. Now, if there is a whole bunch of new Indian retirements before you become eligible, maybe it'll open up. But each year you can check whether the entrance examinations are open to Indians that year. So your nationality is a disadvantage. Your gender, on the other hand, is an advantage. But there is more and more of an emphasis on hiring women, and women are considered very seriously, other things being equal, for pretty much every position in the international organizations, right up to the very top. So even if you don't get in at the entry level, by specializing in an area of interest that you have, working hard at it and acquiring some excellence, you can later look for mid-level entry into a UN position. It can be, for example, from government service, you can be seconded to the UN, or if you've acquired a particular specialization, let's say you've chosen to be an expert in accountancy, every UN agency will need an accountant at some point or the other, and you could then make a leap into being an accountant for the UN instead of being an accountant for a company. So all of these possibilities are there, and the door is always open at any stage, even later in life. So good luck to Nikita. I think it's a laudable ambition to want to serve the world. And who knows, you might find yourself doing very interesting work in some country that you have not even heard of today. So all the very best to you and to others listening.